Hello, hello. How is everybody?
I'm not
I know,
muted.
Lisa, can you hear me? I can hear you, but you can't hear me, right? Lisa,
Okay.
maybe turn up your volume on your phone and mute the computer. How is everybody today? Sorry about that. We'll figure this out in a minute. We were hearing each other, and then suddenly I couldn't hear her anymore, or she wasn't hearing me, at least. Can you guys hear me? Oh, she's going to go out and come back in. So Beth was here lots earlier. She showed up at 9 a.m. So hopefully she'll come back. That's a long time to wait, I know. We're going to do something super fun. Let me add her to the stream now. And then I'm trying to someone that can add links. Yes, I can. So I was trying to figure out how to make that happen. And I'm not seeing that little tool, I looked next to her name. I wonder if I put a star.
Are you hearing me?
So if anybody knows, let me know. That way, if then we can get it going. So welcome if you're new and watching on replay. We are going to do something fun today. I hope you stick around and have a good time with us. We'll have a little chuckle here and there. Hope you brought your funny bone. We're going to work on our postcards from the Edge book. So I kind of thought out a plan, a way to store them so that we can kind of see our postcards and we have a place to put them all. And welcome Lisa. That is Lisa, my sidekick up there with the plaid. Hey, Martha. Hey, Trish. Hi. Oh my gosh, Angie, I am tickled pink that you are here. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you're here.
Hi, Martha.
Kylie said you would need to set her up as a moderator. You need to go into YouTube settings to do. Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to do that from StreamYard. So, but like before we started. So that makes more sense. Yeah. So everybody, welcome. Thank you so much. So what I asked, I don't know if you guys saw the list of things to bring, and it's very minimal. If you want to grab them now, you can here. If because I'm going to go step by step here. I know we usually just have a play, but we are going to go step by step, and then you guys can do this with me. Now, I actually have two options here. So, I guess we'll decide which one. I was thinking about how we could make pockets for our postcards, right? Our postcards from the Edge, our crazy postcards. I didn't show him, I don't think. Here, let me turn my light down just a hair there. There we go. I really like him. I wish I had a stamp like that with the words, and I actually wish I had a bust like that.
It's not quite in focus.
Oh, it's the head. It's because it's white. Sorry, guys.
Okay, but you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I could hear you before. It was you not hearing me.
No, I wasn't hearing you, but I figured out what I had done. It was me. It was just me and technology, so y'all just overlook me.
That's okay. That's okay.
Hi, Angie.
Hi, Diane. Welcome. If you guys could, while we are thinking about it, hit that thumbs up. And if you're watching on replay as well, I would appreciate that. Okay, so we are going to make some fun little pockets. And these pockets, you remember I said bring a lid. I'm going to show you why here in a minute. And you only need glue on the outer edges because we're folding them this way. And then we're open on the inside, and I have a solution for that. And I did a little bit of something fun this morning to deal with that. but what I kind of wanted to do was something neutral. You know, like you do and I can't leave things white. That is not me. Oh, Martha, you missed the creative collab. I just haven't had time. It's been kind of crazy. Yeah, been kind of crazy. Yeah, we will get back to it. Anyway, so I'm going to show, this is the 3-ring style and this is the notch style that I haven't finished cutting this one. But what I was saying is I want it to be more neutral, because we want the postcard to be like the focus. And I realize it's crooked and that doesn't matter. I mean, you could hold the book like this too, but we want it to be in you know, like a mat on a frame kind of, but I couldn't leave it plain. So I kind of went with some monochromatic, lighter, you know, and this, I just wanted to break up that red. I don't know if I'll use the red. I embossed like a thing on there. I was just playing with the red to see what I could do. This was the solution for the, that probably won't be the one, but maybe this guy. The solution for the inside, or we could add another pocket, or we could add maybe book page pockets. And that is a double right there. And I made this 3 years ago. It could be on there, but with the 12 by 12 paper, we have the opportunity to fold it up and, you know, kind of have that less glue, have it really secure. And you can also use a file folder. So, all right. So step by step, let's start with the 12 by 12. Let me grab a piece. And I kind of decorated or sprayed. I put them in my spray box a little bit ahead of time so that I had them kind of ready. So
hello to Belinda Smith coming in, and Nina. We're glad you're here.
Hi, Nina. Hey, Belinda. I'm glad you made it. So is it distracting to have the pattern on there, or should I start with a plain one? You guys, would you rather? Should we do that? Let's see. So all I did was pull
something out. Plain may help visually.
Okay. So all I did was pull out some 12 by 12 solids, basically. And what I propose is we find a size that works for us. You guys don't have to have a specific size. You just want enough for the, and I said bring a lid, but I had this on my table. You want enough so when you trace that out, it doesn't quite touch the bottom. You know, you need to have a little bit of room to tuck your card in. See that? So you can choose your size, basically. Maybe your largest postcard should be your guide.
Go full screen while you're doing this.
Oh, yep, I should do that. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Okay. So
not that I'm trying to be bossy or anything.
No, you're fine. You are just fine. So what I did was I took my biggest postcard. Let's see, the largest one. This one's not done, but take your largest postcard, figure out what kind of your frame will be, fold it in half first. So you're going to fold it in half and find something to crease it with. Give it a nice, good crease. And then...
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, hey, Christy.
If you please hit those thumbs ups on your
that
way
would be
in,
great.
It's easy not to forget.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much, you guys. So then what I did was I took because it's folded in half, creased really well, I took my largest postcard and I kind of made myself a guide. And that was the one that I used for every page. Now you can have different sized pages, totally fine. You know, I do that often with books. So but the goal here is to get some pockets going for the postcards, so it doesn't really matter if it depends on if you're a even person or not. So then I just folded it up, giving myself enough room here. And then we're going to crease it really, really, really good. And probably fold it back and crease it. And you can use the handle on your scissors or whatever to crease. That's fine. So then I folded it the way it would be. And crease it again. This is where my lid comes in.
And if you're like me and you forgot the lid,
use anything. Use your water cup, your squirt bottle, a bowl on your desk, anything round. But you want it kind of bigger. So a hole punch probably isn't big enough unless you have, a 3-inch or a 4-inch hole punch.
And I've got the thing that you use to do angles with. It's an arch.
Oh, that would work great.
So that'll work. Yeah. That's quicker than running downstairs and getting a big lid.
Yeah.
Heavens to Betsy, I don't know why I don't have a big lid.
So then I'm kind of deciding, and each one of these can be different on each page. It doesn't matter. Because, whatever works. I kind of didn't want my kind of half is about right. Because otherwise your pockets are going to kind of go up and you'll have to trim them. So then we want to take a pencil or pen or something, trace that out. Okay. And then I'm going to open it back up, fold it in half, and I'm just going to cut it, fold it in half. So I'm doing both at the same time.
Yes, Martha, we love expensive tools. It's my budget every day.
Yeah, we're using expensive tools today. All 3 of them. Got our scissors, our paper.
I did actually, for Mother's Day, I got some really good hole punchers, circles.
Oh, yeah?
Punches. Yeah, and they work so much better. I've spent good money for some stuff at Michael's, and it was crap. So I'm excited about getting some that actually do what they're supposed to do.
So then I suggest folding it up, and you can obviously fold it in, but if you fold it in, you're going to need to cut a notch out right here. So your pockets will be more secure if you fold those to the outside, because then you don't even have to put glue there after it's put together. And we're going to go ahead and notch these ones. And I think I'm going to notch the other ones because it's been so long since I made a notch book. So we probably need some sort of a guide here, and it's going to be something that we use over and over again. So our notches are even. That is something we definitely need. So let me find something, anything. You want it to be about, you can use a ruler if you want, or you can use an item. So I'm thinking I'm going to use this clip that fell off of something, and I'm just going to line it up with the bottom. And I'm going to make myself a little mark going that way. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the top and make myself a little mark. Now I need to remember that this goes on the outside. So I'm going to put a little, that's for the outside. So I see my little mark there. You guys with me so far? Everybody up to this point?
So far.
Everyone else, raise your hand if you're doing this along.
See it really good.
Okay, so then I would actually use your scissors to cut that little spot, and don't go in very much. I mean, you're just cutting a notch out in the end. So, give that a little snip, making sure to get both sides, and then give that a little snip, remembering they're folded in half so you don't have to go as far as you think you do. It can just be a tiny little sliver. You can make other kinds of journals like this too. And maybe we should do that after we do the altered book, because these are really nice. You can add pages, you can change out the what you have tied around them. This is a great way to store your birthday cards and your Christmas cards and your, the things you get from your husband that are special, or from your kids. You just kind of notch in the birthday cards, and then you can string them all together and keep adding them, along the way. Okay, so got my guide there. Now it should look like this. And at this stage, I'm going to decide, before I do any gluing, that I'm going to not have white, because me and white, no. It's a no. Right, guys?
No,
Oh, thanks,
Martha. If it's not grungy, it's not done.
So while I don't want to take away from, thinking about it like it's a mat in a frame, but not, it shouldn't be the focal point. That's all. Just without focal points. I'm thinking kind of like you could cover this with book page. That'd be awesome. Or you could use a little stencil and maybe some kind of a neutral color. And maybe I'll go with some rusty hinge this time. And if I can find a clean brush, that's not clean. I think that one is. We'll find out, won't we? And then maybe I'll do one pattern on this side and one pattern on this side, or maybe that'll be too distracting. I don't know. What do you guys think? So if I do rusty hinge, I already have one that has gears. So I'm going to just pull out I already did one with that. I've got my stencil thing over there too. I haven't used this one yet today. And I love that one. But I've got my stencil file cabinet over there, but this is just what I'm keeping next to the desk at the moment. So it's not everything. Let's see. I want kind of bigger ones that I can. Ooh,
hey, Dana. Thanks for coming in. If you'll hit that thumbs up for us, we'd appreciate it.
Hey, Dana. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. Okay, so did everybody get caught up to here do you need to look at that before I make it distracting?
Quick question or quick comment. It occurred to me that if you do not have a lid that's the right size, I think an actual CD might
that would work.
Come in handy, and probably would be easier for your storage.
That would be great.
Again, it would be just using something you already have.
So I opened that up, keeping in mind, if I'm going to put some numbers or whatever down here, I'm going to want it the right way up, but because that's going to get folded and that'll be your pocket. So I'm going to use this one. You can use anything. You can turn a bowl upside down. You probably have something on your desk right now that would work.
I have round stuff on my desk, but it's holding stuff. So, I'm just going with some lighter colors here, neutral colors. And also it matches the little project that I did this morning with the band I showed you. All I did was go to my strip bucket, my rip strips. Kylie, you made rip strips with me. I throw all the plain strips in there when I am trimming paper, plus all the fun scraps, that are long and skinny like that. So I just grabbed a handful of those. I went over to my sewing machine and I kept adding and layering them. And I know people have done strips like that before, or they must have. I don't know. I'm sure there's a name for it, but I decided that was a great way to make a band for the inside of our, where it's plain on the backs, so that we could, doesn't really have to match up. Kylie said she needs to make some more rip strips.
Oh, aren't they handy? They are so handy. Okay, so I'm going to leave that like that, and I'm going to go here. So I want to turn that upside down, and maybe now I will use some of this. So I was thinking, like, if you use cream, it would be great if you want to use your gel plate and use like a beige paint. Just a tone on tone, sort of white on white, cream on cream, you know, but in a different shade. I think that would be great. And
So are
I don't
you
need
going
to do it
to,
everywhere.
is it your plan to go ahead and finish the
Hi,
inside
honey.
before you put your,
Yes, that's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm doing it like this. You don't have to. I mean, you could decorate just the pocket part after it's put together, but it's easier to get in there and do all of that if you haven't glued it yet. That's kind of my thought.
right. And now that
On the
makes
plain
sense
side,
to
I don't
me.
have to yet. So, yeah. Honey, what you looking for?
A hot glue gun?
Oh, just a sec. I get it for you. It's right here. Hold on, guys. Just a sec. It's right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He snuck in here. He tiptoed like a cartoon character.
That's funny.
So I'm not putting it everywhere. I'm just putting it here and there and making sure that, you know, when the postcard is in place, it'll be framed, basically. So, you know, I think that's good. And I'm not worrying about this side yet because that can be done later, you know, because there's not a pocket to deal with there. So, oh yeah, Kylie, they're really fun. I can use them for so many things, though I don't. I love having them on the ring next to my desk, or I've got my metal file cabinet and it's got hooks on it, and I have put rings on those hooks with layers of rip strips, and it's beautiful. And Angie, I don't know if you know what rip strips are, but I could totally see you using them in your projects too, in your style, because she does super beautiful grungy stuff. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen the rip strips that we are talking about. The rest of you, I think you have. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about, maybe. I'm not sure.
Do you
Okay,
have
so
the
I'm gonna
rip strips on a play?
I do. I
Yeah.
have rip strips in a couple videos because I challenged Judy P before we lost her way back when. So she actually made what she thought a rip strip would be. And I think she thought you had to rip all the papers. But that's fine. She made a version of rip strips that had no scissors involved. And it was really fun. You don't remember, Julie? Here, let me grab a handful.
And I know Eddie's done them as well. But
I got this
Sharon,
ring.
it's like a rip strip queen.
These are rips. Well, I'm the one that came up with rip strips because the goal is here. And that's just always what I've called them. The goal is here. Say I want to use this little bit right here. Then I would tear that off. And these would have been great for the postcards too. I might still do that. I tear off a section and I can use it anywhere. Or you can use it for a belly band, or you can use it for a tuck, or a pocket, or whatever you want. And I have all different kinds. And this uses up those strips of paper. So yeah, okay, let me get to gluing. It's such a good way to use scraps, and then you get to display them, and they're fun to flip through when you're doing a project. Oh, thank you.
And
I was thinking you might like those.
Sharon, you've usually got those on something that's a stiff back so that it's already ready to put into a project. Is that right?
The rip strips? Not
Yeah.
necessarily. What I have is a box. It's one of those boxes from Michael's that has the grab it. That has the magnetic lid. It's one of these big ones right here. And it's about that deep, or you could use a shoe box. That would be fine too. This is like a boot box. And I just put all of my long, skinny strips in here. When I have cool strips, they go in here. So then even the white ones will be maybe a backing. And I did use some of those this morning. You know, things I cut off from projects that have painted paper. This is alcohol ink. There are, that's from Christmas boxes, and I intend to use them for bases. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Ooh, that's gorgeous. Probably something from my, oh no, this came from Colleen. And I was going to make a strip out of it. So these are the ones that aren't finished, and the ones that, you know, I'll sift through when I want to do a project. And I did have these out this morning. So, and I will show you in just a moment. I think it's called a snippet strip or something like that. But I did it skinnier for a reason. Let's glue.
All right, I'm ready to glue.
Christy keeps hers in a bag and pulls them out when she's working on something. They are so handy. Yeah.
I keep mine in a oatmeal box.
Yeah.
A round oatmeal container.
Oh, that's a great idea. Or like anything that you would put the long skinny pasta in would be fun to look at in a jar when they're finished. Wouldn't that be cool? Okay, so we're gluing. Glue, glue, glue. Just the edges. And you can probably go in a little bit because this is well wider than the postcard and you're not going to tuck it in all the way. So you only need to glue the outside. You can glue here if you want, but you don't need to. Okay, and then this side. And then we'll have to make another one, and I'll do it faster so that we can start seeing how these come together. And this is a notch binding. And I don't remember where I saw it with cards a long time ago.
So you do not put glue in the center part of it,
Nope,
just the outer edges.
You don't need to.
Okay, so the binding will take care of that.
Right. See that? So when we go to make our notch, we probably want to make sure there is enough room because there's going to be like a ribbon or a piece of elastic or something right there, a piece of twine. You know, so you might want to just make sure it's twine length. That's a good width right there. Okay, so I'm gonna.
Eddie is in the house.
What's that?
We got Eddie in the house.
Hey, Eddie. Okay, so this is what I did this morning. I just took some of those strips and I actually tore them. This one has texture. This one is like stamped on. Excuse me. This one is sprayed, and then it went through my embossing folder. And this is all just past projects, what it is. And I sewed really messy on it, and then I went back and forth. So this is to use to make a belly band. So I'll show you the one I made here, and you guys can probably figure that out. I left a little thing on top in case I wanted to put a ring in it, or you know, I don't know, just something. And where is the postcard with the head on it? Well, here's the one from Judy. Let's say I could put that in there. I love these old, you know, from the old spiral notebooks. I mean, it doesn't even have to be old. I just love the holes in them.
Yes.
There's wallpaper.
Yes, it's nice. And even if we run into the paper that used to be fed into the computer printers, you know,
that works too.
A little bit of that too, because you never know when it's going to come in handy.
That's true. Okay, so I'm going to end up notching these. because I remember I was going to put them on a ring and then I decided to notch them.
I haven't used this method with the notch, so this is going to be interesting.
It ends up being a really well-bound book in the end. You just can't do it with thin paper. It has to be with cardstock. Your thin paper will tear over time. So you could glue a strip in to your paper on the edge just to reinforce it before you cut it. That would be great. So I'm going to use my same guide here. Let's see. And I'm going to ignore that hole. Just going to ignore it, you know. Line it up, make a pencil mark. Same guide. And I'm going to ignore that hole.
Oh, yeah. I remember if it jammed. I worked at a bank, and when it would go to run reports, it would run sometimes up to 100 pages for one report out of the 12 I had to pull every morning. Fun stuff. So, Eddie, what we're doing is taking a 12 by 12. You fold it in half.
I will do another one real quick so he can see it too.
Okay, then I won't go through this step by step.
Yeah. Okay. It's probably hard to explain. Explain.
I will spare you that.
it might be difficult to explain. So
I
like a step-by-step project sometimes. I think, you know, otherwise I'm not usually a step-by-step person, but, you know, getting our substrate, that's being our base, started like this. I think it's great. Okay, so let's say I use that. You're going to fold them inside of each other. So they're going to be like this. And then what you have is this notch here that you get to tie something around and it'll hold together. So, oh, how even did I get that notch, huh? Let's see. Let me grab something to put there. Nike. I got a piece of twine right here.
I think the tool I'm using is called a protractor. It has just come to me.
What's that?
I think it's called a protractor. Is that right?
Oh.
The half circle with the angles on it. Isn't
a protractor the one that folds up? I don't remember. I was never mathy. I don't remember.
Well, it's got my youngest daughter's name on it, so you know.
Julie, I'm not sure. What you want to do is you pick a size. Other than when you fold it in half, give me a second here and I'll make one real quick. Do we want, see this mess of string here? So then you would tie it and you have yourself a book. And like I said, this is so good to do with, one of mine is bigger, with your birthday cards and stuff. Christmas cards. You could do one each Christmas, you know, when everybody sends you their cards. So let's make another one. And
I'm working on number Eddie, 2. When I did mine, I folded it up to be 8 inches in the length or the height, and then I folded my pocket at 4-inch mark, which is going to make it come up a little bit higher than what I think you did.
So I'm going to kind of use this as my guide. They don't all have to be the same size, but okay, first you fold your paper in half. Eddie, you got a 12 by 12? Grab a 12 by 12. I know you have one next to you, don't you?
Of course. Yes. Let me just get that.
Oh, I bet he does.
Oh, I'm sure he does. because he
Yeah.
does use them often. But you know, considering that he's not in his regular space, you know,
Right,
it might
right.
not be as handy as
True
it
that.
has been. Yeah.
So,
No stress, Eddie. You know, we wouldn't call you out or anything.
oh, he's quiet right now, so I'm pretty sure he's got one with him. Are you finding one? You could also use a file folder for this.
And I think file folders would work really well.
You have to figure out your pockets differently. Okay, so Eddie, fold that in half. And then I'm going to take, because I kind of want to use this as a guide, I'm going to guide with the red page here. So I'm going to just kind of give it a little, yeah, a little bit
Thank
more.
you, Kylie. I couldn't remember which was which. I knew they all came together and they were all used in geometry, but that's been a long time and a lot of things have gone through my brain since then.
So Eddie, fold that up to the size that, because this is for our postcards from the edge. So we're making pockets for those and they need to be, you know, a little bigger so that we can vary our postcard sizes. So it's folded in half this way, folded up this way. No, go ahead and do that. And then I took a coaster, use a lid, a coaster, a bowl. Where did my coaster go? Darn it. I really did lose it. Oh no, it's right there. Okay. Now take something big and round. And kind of, I'm just giving myself a guide here. Put it at about your halfway mark so you don't have weird pockets that go in the hole there. Kind of center it. At that, trace around your circle. Did you find something round? Okay, and then you're going to keep it folded in half and use that as your guide. And Julie, they can be wonky circles if you want. I read that earlier. She said she's not good with circles. You could do any shape you want, really. What you're going to want is just something that lets a lot more of your postcard show. That's all I'm after here. You could even save these pieces right here and make tabs on the other side. And then I'm going to take this.
Julie, every year, you know, the kids would have to have equipment and, you know, they'd have their list for school and I'd say, well, where's the one we bought last year? Well, I don't know. And when they started cleaning their rooms out so that they become like adult rooms.
Adults.
Yeah, when they started, you know, acting more like adults, I ended up with like, it seemed like hundreds of crayon boxes. You know, it was like all this stuff, you know, that had got stuck in places that you would have never looked for. It was really funny. I thought it was.
You know,
But I collected them all, and you know, I said, okay, we'll donate what we don't use right away. So I kept some, and then when I started playing in the craft room, I already had equipment that I didn't know I would need, but I thought I would, you know, hold on
I
to it
lost my
just in
spot.
case.
So Eddie, I'm just decorating this before I do the next step. It's just easier. You could spray it. You can do whatever you want with it. You guys could just use scrapbook paper that's already decorated for this. I just want a neutral sort of, I know that this does not look neutral to you guys, but it looks neutral to me. This is my neutral. So it's because it's more monotone, you know. I just can't leave it white. It's just not it's not in my nature. You guys could use a stamp and make like a, you know, as long as it's not a focal point and it's like a background stamp, that'd be great too. Okay, so when we're to this point right here, we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces. Are you up with us there, Eddie? Okay, so we're going to glue those. Give it a moment. And then make sure it's flat. Pen in mouth. Oh, I need to clean the tip of this glue. I rolled a whole ball of glue off of it before I turned on the computer today. And it's almost back. Oh, you went back a few minutes? Oh, okay. Okay. So then we're going to fold that back in half. I'm going to use my guide once again. I know that the white line is the outside. I'm going to line that up. Right there. And that right there. I'm not going in too far. Just a little bit of. And a minute there, Lisa, and I will put your screen on while I see if I can pop into YouTube and highlight Mo's name as a
Moderator.
It's not a moderator. What's it called? So it looks like this in the end, like this. You guys could round the corners. That would be good. And even rounding these ones, I've never done it, but it seems like it would make it stronger. That's an option. Or just, you know, these sides. I don't know. Just a thought.
You mean to round that?
What's that?
I said, you're talking about maybe rounding that corner where your notches are?
Yeah. I'm going to put the biggest one here that I didn't measure on the outside. Yep. So then remember, this goes in the center. So it's kind of like a traveler's notebook where it's, you can use elastic or string or lace or whatever, piece of sari silk or whatever. But your notches are keeping your book together there. That's where they go.
I think I'll like that. I like using elastic.
It's a really
especially
handy.
When you can take things out and change them around.
So now I want to do something with these sides here, and I'm going to use some of this. Now, you could do a book page double pocket here, or, you know, whatever, or you could use this page like an art journal page, and just go crazy. Or if you wanted to hold another postcard because, you know, there's nothing there. That's where I was thinking this. And I'm going to kind of put them off to the side because generally the middle of the postcard, there's something going on. So that's why I chose to put it off on the side on the last one. And like I said, I just sat at the computer and sewed all those up.
Julie has a question about the notches. If
Okay.
we are going, it is a style of binding using the notches.
It's a notch book. Yeah.
If you did not want to do the notch style, then you would have to look at it in another way.
You can just punch holes in it if you don't want to do the notches, Julie. I would just punch 3 holes in it and put some rings in.
And you showed an example of one that you had punched, correct?
Yeah, and then I put notches in those because I decided I was going to go with the notches. Oh, thank you, Christy. Oh. Yeah, this is a really handy way to do this. Yeah. So if you want to do holes. I mean, but you can bind it any way you want. The goal here is to make a toned down matte like frame for each postcard. Frame as in a pocket. So, all right. So I'm just gonna glue.
I really like this idea. I
Thank
think
you.
I'm gonna like this. And I wonder if we could do the envelopes this way.
You probably could. Yeah. You can also make a postcard book out of envelopes if you have the right size envelopes, just on their side. I just want as much of the postcard to show as possible. So, that's why I decided to do the pockets with the big circles cut out. So it's like a giant notch. When you put a thumb hole, like a notch in a junk journal pocket?
Right.
It's a giant notch, essentially. This is. It's bigger and it shows more of the card. So it's a display.
Christy, do you really want me to answer that? She wants to know how many envelope books I've made.
Oh my gosh.
I have 2 that are going to Scotland next week, and I have a third one that is put together, but not. It does not have ephemera in it yet. So yeah, I love doing them. I don't know why, but it just
So I
really
dropped the
something I
ball.
took to.
I dropped the ball with the ink. I should have inked the sides of that at least. Let me see. Oh, I'm going to use this side right here. Kind of leave some of it up. So I just picked the neutral, the lighter colors, more neutral colors. If orange was a neutral, or green. They can be if they're soft enough, right? Oh, elastic is the only thing I use for now. Removable signatures make sense. Hey Beth, you made it. I saw you were here earlier, and it was at like 9 a.m. wasn't it?
That must have been when the notification went out.
Yeah. It was fun. Yep. Anyway, back to my band here. Back to the band, man. It could just be a little tuck spot. You could glue all 3 sides too. Notice I left the thread up here and I even let the glue get in there. I might leave this little ripped edge right here. It is really fun to glue these together and then run them through your embossing machine, like dry embossing, because it really pushes the pieces together like permanently, which is really cool. And
I think that's the next big thing I want. I think that'll be the next thing I put on my wish list. Is going to be an embosser. I just need an easy one.
Well, look online because I got mine used.
What you need, Beth? Talk to me.
I have a really hard time getting my signatures, my sewing straight or the way I want it or tight enough, or there'll always be one signature that's a little wonky, or it's just frustrating to me. And I have lots of books that I've made like that. I just don't prefer it. So this is a nice way to go about I have
That's
a big
one
shot.
thing that when I first started making journals, I never thought about putting more than one signature because of the fear of not being able to
Get
pull
it
it off.
straight. Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
yeah, there's not a lot of
yeah,
room
I
in
mean,
there to get your hand.
I just didn't have the skill. And the journal that we made before Christmas, and it kept
Yeah,
growing and growing and
the
growing. And
goddess.
I mean, it's not perfect by no means, but I look at it and it's a little bit wonky, the stitching in the back, but it was the first time I had done it. And I really,
Are you talking about the goddess journal?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it ended up having 5 signatures in it. So she's a big girl. She's
She's
so
your.
big, I've got her on the top of the shelf, not on the
I
stacked
didn't know
inside
she
the
was your
shelf.
biggest one.
Yeah, she's my biggest one. I tend to make them kind of a medium size. I don't know. I kind of like it when they kind of fit in your hands. They're not so big that they're awkward. And yeah, she's my biggest one. She's a big girl. But I
Well,
keep
that's
adding
cool.
to her. I mean, when people send me cards, I've been putting, a lot of happy mail in her.
So I'm trying to think of other ways to make the inside, besides sprays, um, inks with a stencil and a brush, maybe stamping or embossing, but you would have to do it like a heat embossing, but you would have to do it before you do anything else to it. You could use a stamp and do like an all over pattern. That would be kind of fun. Like maybe something in gold with some bricks, or I mean, that would be cool, right?
It would. Okay,
Yeah.
Angie would like to know if you like the glue that you're using today. Are you using the Bear Arts glue, or are
Um,
you
well,
using
this is,
art
I
glitter?
love the Barely Art. It's great. It's just like art glitter glue. You might have one more second before it's dry. But I did refill this with art glitter glue because it was on sale and I got a big bottle. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I need
it's just
to
the
buy
bottle.
art glitter glue. One thing I do know, Angie, is I've used both, and I think that the art glitter glue does give just a little bit of a little bit more time. It's got just a little bit more time to move it if you see that you misplaced it. Also, I'm aware that in some areas they will not ship art glitter glue during the winter in the United States due to it freezing. If it freezes, it's
I don't
toast,
think
from
the
what I
bear glue is
understand.
like that. I think you can have it anytime, the bear glue, right?
But the bear glue, if it
Yeah.
freezes, it's fine. Once it thaws, it's fine. So yeah, that might be. I'm not sure where you
I
are,
haven't
but
used one of these in ages. So I'm
definitely
going to use
something to.
Mandala from PM Artist Studio for this one. So I want to I don't want to have to do the whole thing. And I realize there's a line there. So I'm kind of thinking I want to do something like put this inside and spray it, but if I spray it, I'll get that. Or use the ink, but then I have to put it all over. So maybe I don't want to do that. I was just kind of thinking it would be fun to, there we go. How about that? And something different. And I just highlight them. That works, right? Am I missing anything? Yeah, it's barely art. That's what it's called. You don't like finishing either, Julie, about the process, not the.
I think everybody is different in what part of
Um,
what part of the
oh
process they
yeah.
like
Are you
more.
guys? Yeah, I don't like. I like to get down to the fun stuff. Like if I can get this part over with pretty quickly, or the part where you're building the construction, I have a hard time getting over the hump there where I'm like in the zone and I'm really into what I'm doing and, just decorating. And my husband and I talk about this too, because, he understands it. He builds planes and drones, but it's a little bit different for him, even though he's creative. He has a set goal. We don't. We're just like, throw this on there and throw some of that at it,
Well,
And we do. It's fun though, right?
it
That's
is
the point.
a different thing
Yeah.
altogether.
I'm going to use the
I think
rest
that
of
for me, I enjoy just seeing a journal come together. I sit with my pages and I switch them back and forth. I get them
I do
ready, and
too.
then trying to put them with what I feel like where they flow the best. And I do spend time doing that, but once I get that done, the rest goes kind of quick. I just start going through, and
Those
I
finishing
don't necessarily
details.
go in the order of the pages. I just go where I feel. I don't want to say called, but I feel like there's a point
What
where,
inspires you
yeah,
at that moment?
I will see something and I say, hey, wait a minute, I've got this I could do here. Or, I have some pre-made ATC cards and I put ribbons on them, and I can, be looking and think, okay, this is where I want to be with this. This is it. But
I
once I
am
get that done, it goes fast. Sometimes it goes really fast.
the assemblages. That's what I'm talking about with getting over the hump, or anything that I make that doesn't necessarily have to be a journal, because I do more other things. Well, not lately, you guys. I'm blaming you. We've been doing more of this stuff lately, haven't we? I'm overdue for an assemblage. My anniversary's coming up, and I haven't figured out what I'm making him yet this year. And it's coming soon. I better know. I better get on it, right? It doesn't warp. Nope.
Yeah, you can't wait till the last minute if you're going to do something like
Yeah,
that.
and I realized, oh my gosh, it's like around the corner. Beth, did you ever ask your question? I was looking for it
It was
there,
about the glue.
oh, okay.
It was about the glue, so you got it.
Yeah, okay. The Barely Art glue does not warp, no. And Angie, if you want a glue that doesn't warp, if you're talking about, gluing something down and wanting it to be smooth, which usually I'm like warp. If I'm doing something grungy, that's fine. The Crafters Workshop matte gel medium is my very, very favorite for that. I use antique magazines, antique magazines, and I will glue them to a book page before I cut out the image I want, and I use that, and it's wonderful every time. So, and I can even just use a card with it and then something soft over the top and smooth it out, or you can just use a paintbrush. It is great. Okay, so all I did was add a little something to it, and I'm not sure if that's enough, but these don't have to be finished right now. I'm trying to get my construction done, really. So let's say I put my crazy wild hair girl in there, or her in there. I think maybe one in the middle, one of those stencils in the middle. Now that I see that. One of the tiny ones. That one. And maybe in vintage photo this time.
I ended up getting the vintage photo that you suggested, and it's okay. I still like the twigs, though.
You like it really light. Did you get the vintage photo oxide or just the ink?
The oxide.
Oh, the oxides are my favorite. I don't even care about the inks. The oxides were the ones that I was collecting for so long because I love what happens when you get them wet. Have you gotten it wet? You know that,
No.
right? Oh
No,
my
I
gosh.
haven't gotten it wet.
Okay, so do you have a spray bottle next to you?
I do.
Put some oxide on something and give it a little sprinkle, or even just your fingers in some water and flick it and watch what happens. It's amazing.
All right, I'll do that.
It's magic, isn't it, guys?
I will do it.
Julie, you like the Yes paste? It's made for that sort of thing. I know, because it's made for wallpaper, actually. So this one, I think I'm going to call, maybe I would ink the edges and go around all that sort of stuff after. But I'm going to call that. You know what I can do, though? Just so we can see this pocket. Just with my residue of walnut on here. What's that?
Mo said, talking about being well restrained in this conversation.
You don't have to be restrained. Just don't get us kicked off YouTube. I don't care. There's no kids here.
Not for kids. We're playing with scissors. We're running with them.
So pockets standing out, it could always use more, but I think it's just about finished there. And that's a page. So you guys like the notch book? What do you think of the pockets? So with this one, I think I want to use, because it's a postcard book, I've got this postage stencil here that it looks like I've used it a lot, but I really haven't. So I think it's just paste that I had put over it. I think I want to put this here and there, and then maybe use a stamp, I don't know, over the top of it. Maybe.
What size container was that, Julie?
At some angles.
The Yes blue.
Oh, they're huge.
You said it was like $60.
Yeah, 64 ounces, something like that.
Okay, so $1 an ounce.
It's not $64 here, Lisa. She's in Australia.
Yeah, I know she's in Australia.
Yeah. You can get it for around 25, I think, here.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Kylie.
Wallpaper paste.
Yeah, it's wallpaper paste. It's called Yes Paste. Yes is the brand.
I remember when wallpaper paste was not pre-mixed. You had to buy it in a bag.
Wouldn't we like to get a hold of some of that and play with it now?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, you probably could find a recipe
Eddie's
for
brothers
it.
in the background laughing at us, probably. Let's give him something to laugh about. Do you remember when your parents used to say that to you? I'll give you something to cry about.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually got it too, boy. If the belt came off, my dad would whip his belt off and hold his britches up while, discipline me for whatever I had done wrong. And if my daddy was going to spank me, it was usually pretty bad. My mom would spank me for no good reason, but my dad, it was always a legitimate reason when he got me.
Want to hear a funny story?
I do.
When I was 3, I think, ish, and this is one of my earliest memories. The Yankees suck, by the way, Eddie. I'm reading sorry for all you Yankee fans out there. I'm just doing what I was told. That's funny. Yes, the Yankees suck. That's right. Um, okay, so I was a nail biter. I mean, as soon as I could put my fingers to my mouth, I was biting my nails. So, oh, you got to go. Fine. Oh, I'm so glad you made it, Beth. It makes me so happy. Yeah, totally watch the replay. It'll be fun. When we get, I mean, because these come together pretty quickly. Anyway, there I was. I'll try not to. And we'll see you later, Beth. Hey, everybody, Beth will be on at 6 Eastern time. And I think that is right after we're done here, isn't it? It might be. I think it is. So, okay, no distractions, no distractions. My ADHD is here. So I'm
Just
walking
heads
around.
up, if you lose me, we've got real bad storms rolling through right now.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to lose
if
you.
I just happen to not be here, you'll know what
Okay.
happened.
Okay. So, okay, funny story. It's a gross and funny story, I promise. So I was a nail biter. I remember being in the car, and when we in the car when I was little, we used to like crawl over the seat and we were bouncing around. We'd lay in the back window and we didn't have car seats. What's that? Right? I was 3. So there I was biting my nails, and my dad said, if you don't stop biting your nails, I'm going to rub horse poop on your, and I don't think he used the word poop on, but I remember that in my 3-year-old brain, on your hands. And I was scared of this. I'm 3, right? And we lived out in the country, and the neighbors had horses, and I was always talking to the horses. So I knew what horse poop was. And then I remember suddenly my hands were in my mouth again. And I was trying so hard not to bite my nails. And he said, that's it. I'm putting horse poop on your hands when we get home. And so we got home, and the next memory I have, I'm standing at the fence and Dad's rubbing this stuff on my hands. And then I walk around the house for what seemed like hours and hours, but it was probably 5 minutes, crying with my hands like this up in the air, like my mouth hanging wide open, crying. And my mom was in the bathroom doing something, her hair or something, I don't know. And I was walking back and forth, can I take it off? And then I went out to my dad, who's sitting on the couch with his guitar, can I take it off? And they kept telling me to go ask the other one. And
Classic.
And I'm back and forth, I remember, and I probably only did it, once, where they each said go ask the other one. But in my brain, when I think back, it happened over and over and over again. Okay, so finally, I don't remember them when they took it off. Years later, let's fast forward years later, and I'm talking, I'm 40. I moved back here where I was around my dad again, and found out that it was mud. It wasn't actually horse. I thought my dad was like the meanest person my entire life. I thought that was horse poop that he had actually rubbed on my hands, risking germs in my body, and I could have gotten sick, or anything could have happened. Anything. It was mud. And he didn't tell me until I was 40. I just think that it's ridiculous.
Goodness. That's hysterical.
So that was like a traumatic memory for me. Like, so traumatic. And then to find out it was mud. Seriously, Dad. He couldn't have told me earlier. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So sorry.
That sounds like some of the things my dad might have done. He was an out of the box kind of guy.
My dad was a jerk. That was the only time I remember actually being parented, but my brother wasn't born yet. So I really thought that was just such an abusive thing that he did, and it was mud. Yeah, my dad was playing the long game. That's right. He
played it well.
He sure did.
That is. Yeah. We put Tabasco sauce or Texas Pete on my niece's
Ooh,
fingernails because she wouldn't keep
not
them out of her
nice.
mouth.
Not nice
Yeah,
at all.
we tried the
I-
no bite nail stuff, and that didn't work. So that was like the alternate.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't work. Okay,
But I
so I'm
still
going to
have the
grab
paddle that my parents used.
some sort of a stamp of some kind and see if I can find something that kind of goes with this, and use a light color. So I'm still having the monochromatic feel. Oh, you know what I have? Look at this. These are all stamps. They're cool too. Let's see if I have a thing here.
Oh no, Eddie!
Lisa,
When Eddie was a kid, his aunt was going to discipline him for cussing, and tried to put
right now,
hot
or
sauce in his mouth, and it missed and hit his face.
oh, it discolored your skin. Oh, that's sad. Is it still discolored? I mean, did she do it this week, or was it when you were a kid? Oh, when you were a kid, I see. I'm reading it. Okay, so I'm going to I used the walnut for that. I kind of want to go in the same sort of, I'm just going to use black. Father was used a leather barber strap. Oh, yeah.
I'm not surprised. My dad, it was a leather strap. The last time he got me with it was for talking in church. It was like an angel had lifted me up out of my seat. I kid you not. I thought I was having a really, exceptional experience. But it was my dad. He pretty much picked me up by my shoulders and dragged me over the bench and out the front door to the front porch of the church. And he said, "Well, you've done acted up in front of God. We might as well let everybody else see you too."
Oh my goodness.
Whew, that was a rough day.
Oh
Boy,
my
there
goodness.
was nobody was talking. He took me in church and dared me to cry. I had to take the punishment, and he took me in. I remember the little old lady that sat beside us was trying to give me a piece of candy, and he looked at her and he held his finger up and shook his head no, and dared me to take it. Like, okay.
Did you take it?
No, 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 no. My daddy was mad. My daddy didn't get mad often, so if my daddy was that mad, I knew I was in some trouble. And when there was silence on the way home, I thought, oh no, this is not over. But it was over. He didn't say anything else about it. He handled it and it was done.
So I have this, and it is like little leopard spots.
Okay, Christy, we're glad you stopped by.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much. Hey, yeah, if you do this, I'd love to see how you end up using yours. There's probably so many different ways we can use these besides birthday cards and postcards, Thank you. Just,
What happens when you're trying to distress something and you drop your brush into the abyss?
When you're what?
When you're trying to distress the pages and you drop your brush that you're using to distress with into the pit of nothingness that you cannot, dig it out right now. I can't get it out right now.
You have a pit of nothingness? This surprises me.
Did you hear me pulling out my cutting board earlier?
No.
That's where it fell. Not my.
I did not, actually.
Okay, well.
All right.
I'm trying to see where it went. I mean, I've got like poster boards and stuff right here. It couldn't have gone far, but I can't see it. So I guess I have to get another tool.
Yes, so you go,
We go to
girl.
we're going to Plan B.
So I didn't glue any of these down. All I did was sit at the sewing machine and I kept adding and adding and adding. Getting to the end, and I made sure they were double thick anywhere. So I had a plain piece on the bottom, and I was going back and forth with messy stitches, you know. Tried to use the neutrals or toned back colors mostly. Don't want it to outshine the postcard. This could be a tag book also. I mean, it doesn't have to be postcards. For anybody that's not doing the postcards, postcards from the edge, that's, you know, that's fine. I really want to use this right there. So I think I'm going to cut that short. Or...
Oh, yeah, Julie, the silent cries. You know, once you learn to do that, it's like you're hurt, but you don't express it because you know that, you know, no matter how you feel, you've got to hold it. You can't let it out.
Okay, and I'm going to remember this time. So did you use the water on your ink yet?
I did. I put
And
water.
did you see what happened?
Yep.
It oxidized.
It did. And
Isn't it gorgeous?
I probably got it too wet.
Oh, yeah. You just want a
Yeah.
little. You can even use a water brush, or you could use just splatter water on it.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it'll dry. It just means I'm not going to be able to glue it right now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
Trish, the postcards from the edge.
oh, yeah.
Trish is asking about it, so go ahead and tell her.
So postcards from the edge are where we get crazy and make some postcards. These are postcards. Hold on, let me get this. I have a postcard stamp here. And we're going to do a swap at 920 subscribers. There's her. She's crazy. She's out of a 17 magazine, and I kind of made her a
wild
made her
woman.
and it's wild as her hair. And I drew in all this wild hair. This is from a playing card, and that is a stamp that I have. Wild as her hair. So postcards from the edge would be, we're using anything to make a postcard, recycling chipboard of some sort. And then we're just throwing everything at them. Mixed media style, they'll be flat. You don't have to make a whole bunch. I mean, make just a few and put together a little book. And then when people send you postcards, which I like a postcard size when I'm making, because it is a big enough surface to work on. You can use it for covers when you're done. You know, you layer them up on stuff. They don't have to stay a postcard. You can, actually use it as a postcard, but I would put it in an envelope. And I just think they're a good size. You can tuck them in pockets in a journal or anything like that. You know. And I used the postcard crazy was the hashtag for that. Or postcards from the edge, which was really long. So that's why I did postcard crazy. Okay, so I'm going to glue this side first, and then I'll trim that. And you notice I did go in and kind of glue down any corners or whatever that I needed to. I don't mind if some of it's up, as long as it's not in delicate areas, you know, that like this. I'm not worried about that. This, I kind of like that it's curling over. I just didn't want it to, when I was sewing it, I was relying on the threads to do its job and, you know, kind of doing swirly stitches and stuff. Kind of really messy, went back and forth. She used a darker thread. This is texture paste from an old project, and that was like a strip that was left over. I threw in the strip bin. Strip bin sounds like I have a fun hobby, doesn't it?
There you go. Mo, mark the time. Well, I keep my strippers real close. They have a special place. Since they don't hang on the pole, they've got one of those long, tall glass containers that they hang out in.
Diane says when she does projects, they're either grungy or very colorful. Very rarely in between. Yes, I hear that. And now coming to the stage. Oh no, I am not Chesty Sharon. I am Zip Code. That is my alter ego.
Zip Code. That's her stage name.
Her booty's so big it needs its own zip code. That was always what I heard. So I actually there's another story in there, but I can't tell it on here. So
oh, Eddie, I have a stage name. My dad was a trucker, and he had a CB radio at home. And when he wasn't there, we would play with it, me and my best friend. And so we were on there, 13, 14 years old, had no business getting on there talking to truckers.
No.
And they wanted to know what my name was. And I looked at my friend and started giggling. And I told him, I said, well, this is Luscious Lisa.
I might do one this
I can remember we were sitting
here
downstairs in the basement, and we were down there playing around. I was bringing firewood in for the night for the wood stove, and
me.
He's wanting to pick us up. He says, "Oh, I've got somebody for your friend too." I bet you do.
Oh no.
No, we did not go out. We did not get ourselves in trouble.
Good. I'm so glad.
But
so
when
glad.
my dad said, he says, I thought I heard you on the radio. I said, I don't know what I said, I was putting wood up. I was bringing wood in. I wasn't going to tell him I was on the radio.
You were.
And he recognized my voice.
Sorry.
Wouldn't it have been awful if he'd have tried to pick me up? I mean, really?
He probably would not have objected to a child. Yeah, that sounds like it.
And I was a daddy's girl. He probably knew it was me.
Dad would have had a shotgun out. Right? Oh, Julie was called Giraffe Julie because she had a long, skinny neck. Trish, I'm really glad I piqued Evie's interest there. You guys should make some dark postcards. Well, postcards from the edge would mean, like I'm hanging by an eyelash on the threshold of insanity. You heard that? It's kind of, I'm on the edge. Oh no, I'm losing my mind. Postcards from the edge.
A way to express things that you generally would not let out of your head. Those kind of guarded, goofy.
Or use up scraps that you've been hoarding and you don't know what to do with. I'm going to put this down a little lower, actually, because I want to be able to see the card and not cover the whole thing.
I will say that when my husband Bill came along when I was 16, and CB radios were still a big thing then. It was before cell phones, came on the scene. And he was known as the Green Demon, which the school he went to, the Demon was the mascot. And he drove a green 57 Chevy. So he was called Green Demon. And somebody said, well, what's your name? And he turned and looked at him and he said, she's Green Demon's girl. So I was GDG. He had me a necklace made with that on it.
Oh, so that's cute. So just as an example from my little pack of stuff here that I had shown last time. I've just got some backgrounds ready to go there.
Eddie said he'll take the prompt, he'll use the files from his therapy for his postcards.
Oh,
Eddie,
they're going to be therapy postcards? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
It's okay,
You do
Eddie.
you. You do
I like
you.
your
We love
postcards.
you.
And the snarky ones, like what Yolande did, they're pretty cool. And there's you can get ideas for those on Pinterest if you just
Lisa?
put in snarky. Yes, I'm ready.
Oh, I
Did you
didn't
lose
know if
me?
you could hear me. That's what I
Yeah,
was
I
worried
can hear
about.
you. I got you.
I did for a moment, yeah. Okay, so we're just stacking them up here, and I'm going to make another one. I'm not going to worry about decorating the insides of these ones yet. I want to cut some more of these first. And I've got another piece of this. And let me think of another fun way to get something on here. I could use pattern paper would be amazing if I felt like gluing, but it would require dry time. I used a stamp. I've used stencils, ink. I could use my gel plate, but it would require dry time. I think I'm going to go back to just the ink. I can't think of anything else right now. Can you guys? I just can't. I've got a one-track inky mind today. It's been a while since I've used my ink like this too. Maybe I'll get out some green this time, or some, because I've got this little bits of color here. This is oxidized, Lisa. Do you see that? That's what that is. That's a walnut ink spray. It's the oxide spray. Oh, hi, Kathy. Welcome. So that's what happens when you get it wet. It turns colors.
Yeah.
How many of these can you put together before it becomes a gator mouth? Well, you think kind of like signatures. You probably only want a handful of them, but if you do separate signatures, you could do that with them like this. For sure. I mean, you might go depending on, because postcards are flat. I mean, we're doing relatively flat things, right? So, and this is a little bit bulky, but not bad. I mean, it's a flat thing. Everything is kind of flat in here. So you might get 5 of these in, depending on how thick your paper is too. This red is really thick, and it was the first one I did. There's Judy's. So maybe I'll put that one in a different one. This is from Judy P, and it's very special to me. So maybe I'll do one more in here, and then I can tie this off. And these could have a cover that's removable, So I'm going to go to the green. And I want a completely different stencil. I'm just bored with them all. Just bored with them. Let me see.
Kathy, I was the same way about multiple signatures, but there's different ways to do them. You can do them without having to actually sew them in.
Oh yeah, and this is such a great way to do that. No sewing.
I know you come in late, but these are going to have a notch in them.
It's a notch book.
Notch in them, so it's going to be the means.
Just a minute, I'm going to make one, and you can see. So I don't want a focal point. I'm just looking for something that is backgroundy, and maybe a little grungy, steampunky, the kind of thing I like. Maybe I love that one, and I love that one. So how about those, and not the seeds? Okay. Yeah, it's a really fun book. Okay, so let's go again here with this. So I'm going to have to remember, if I'm going to use this as a pocket, on the pocket side, it's going to need to go the opposite direction. But I think what I want to do, let's get it right side up. I'm going to use it for before the fold. The number 4 is mine. Oh, the poppy head stencil is really good. I wish it was bigger. It's just one from Timo. I've had it for a little while. Came in a set. I think it was like $3 for a set of them. I know I should be using a bigger brush for this probably. Sprays are really good, but sprays, if I do that on camera, then I have to wait for them to dry, and that is difficult. So I don't want to get out the heat tool and annoy you guys with it. So yeah, I love the arrow too.
And I will not be doing sprays anytime soon because I end up with it on my fingers. I have to go outside. That's how messy I am. I've got a box, but I'll go in the attic and spray, but I still end up making a mess.
Okay, so grab a 12 by 12 piece of paper there, Kathy, if you want to do this along with us. And it's really quick. Once you get the gist of it, 12 by 12 piece of paper, or you could use a file folder, but you would have to do your pockets a little different. So I'm just using this as a guide because this is the one that I did before, and I want them to kind of be the same size, but they don't have to be. Gonna go up just a hair. There we go. I think that's about right there. Okay. So the first thing you're supposed to do, sorry about that, is fold it in half. So get your 12 by 12, fold it in half, and use something, the edge of your scissors, a bone folder. Get it nice and creased. What are a symbol of fertility? Oh, poppies are a symbol of fertility? Oh, well.
I never heard that.
I did not know that either. Now I want to use now I want to use, it's not.
She wants to shake the poppy seeds.
What's that?
I said, you want to shake out the poppy seeds.
Yeah. I love poppies. Poppies and daisies are my favorite flower. Okay, so Kathy, are you going to do this with us real quick? Okay, you're going to fold your 12 by 12 in half. Oh, that's okay, Eddie. I was hilarious. You really missed it. Boy, you missed the tears.
It's all about the pole.
So in half.
And zip code.
Then, I was going to put you on the screen. I really, I am squirrely today. You're right. I'm so excited to be here. Okay, so you're watching only. That's okay. So I folded it in half. Then I'm going to fold it up, and I've kind of made a guide here because I want them all to be about the same size. But this one is about, for anybody that is interested, it is about 7.5 inches. That's where I folded it. So fold, crease, and I'm going to go back to here, fold it up, and I'm going to use my lid. Actually, I won't have that behind it so you can see. And I'm going to go about halfway. So this is kind of, you can use any size lid or coaster or a bowl or whatever. The intention is to show more of our postcard from the edge. So then I'm going to take that and cut it out. It's kind of framing it mostly. Whoops. There we go. It's not very round. Probably use like a star shape would be fun, but you would have corners to deal with. But you could think of different shapes and ways to do this. So, and there's our pocket right there, just like that. Ooh. And then when we fold it this way, our pocket is secure, and that's the direction it will go in. And then we only have to put glue here and on the opposite side. So the postcards fit in like this. And then we will notch it real quick. So we're running through the whole thing all at once. Okay, and then with the notch, I made myself a little guide here. You can use a ruler or whatever, just a piece of cardboard on your desk. But decide so they're all the same size. That's the only reason why you're doing that is you want them all the same size. So just make a little tiny mark. Same thing on this end. Make a little tiny mark. Okay. Now I'm going to cut this first because I'm only going to go in just a hair. And cut that sliver off. Okay. So it's, that's folded in half. I'm going to go in just a hair. You can really do a lot of pages pretty quickly. But like Julie was asking how much until it gets too fat. And I would say about 5 pages total. And it only works with cardstock or anything thicker. Because of because it'll just tear. Lisa, are your cards paperweight? That's what they're asking.
It is out of a scrapbook pad, a 12 by 12. It is not as thick. It's not quite cardstock though. It's that new pad. I had not opened it all the way, so it probably could stand to be heavier.
Yeah. Well, it might tear over time. That's what you don't want. So you want this to be nice and strong. Your tab here.
I may go ahead and use this with something else and use some of the pieces that I've got that are odds and ends from when I used to.
And then you go like this, Kathy. And you can tie it there. And you can use elastic, string, lace, doesn't matter. A thinner cardstock would be okay. Lisa, if you think it's too thin and it might tear, you can glue a strip of paper there and recut out the notches, and it would be thicker right there and not put undue stress on the edges.
Yeah.
Where the string is, because otherwise your string might cut in, Everybody likes your paper.
Yeah, that pad was all different colors of plaids, but orange is my thing, and I thought, okay, I've not done anything orange.
So I'm just, and I'm doing kind of a monochromatic grunge here. So I'll probably put a stencil on that, but I'm going to do my edge because it's easier to see that it's a pocket after it's been glued, and I forgot to do it for most of them. I haven't inked things for so long that I forget to do it when I'm making,
Yeah,
So
I do have. I know I do have some stronger 12 by 12s because I always hit up the clearance racks. When they get down to a quarter a page, I'll pick up some of that thicker paper.
So then I'm going to do this side right here, and I'm going to pull this out. I love this stencil. I do. Kind of need it to be, kind of need it like that, don't I?
Yeah, that's one thing about if I don't like the colors, I can definitely gel plate the back sides because they're all white on the back. They're not double printed. I think the ones that I have that are thicker.
And I thought about breaking out the gel plate for this today. to do these. But I just didn't want to wait for things to dry. Otherwise, I was going to open my new gel plate up because I got that other new one to rotate in.
Yeah, I'm thinking it. I bought myself a 5x7, but I'm thinking about getting another 8x10. It's hard when when you start, if you get your paints out, you got your papers out, your gel plate, and you only have the one gel plate. It's hard to keep it rolling. And
Yeah, it is.
I think it's more fun when you can kind of do quick pulls. But sometimes you want more.
I was thinking about using ink on the gel plate. This kind of ink. I've barely done that, and I was thinking it might be fun to, just do some light, because it does come out pretty light. Monochromatic frames for the postcards.
I think it would work for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I know it works with this kind of ink, but it doesn't look like there's any ink on the plate while you're doing it. You can't see it until you pull it, and then you're like, wow, there was a lot of ink there.
Well, Kylie enabled me. I ended up with sepia and in indigo and the is it pronounced Daller Ronnie?
Kathy, you've never inked through a stencil? Wow, you're gonna have a blast. Eddie, you used one of the ladies from
in his
from my goddess set. Oh, I can't wait to see it. I haven't been on Facebook as much as I'd like. I've had a headache almost every day, and they're doing
about
something
a month
about it. Yeah, it's been over a month now. And it puts a strain on my eyes. So by a certain time in the day, I just can't even look at my phone. And I haven't been on there as much as I should. I'm sorry. Thank you for using that, Eddie. Is there a video too?
Yes.
I can't wait to go see.
And it's beautiful.
I'm going to see an ear, nose, and throat specialist about it, but they want me to go get a hearing test first, which is stupid that they don't do it there, I think. And I already have to go see that one for a biopsy, that same doctor, which is random that I already have an appointment in their books. So I can only do one thing at a time, and I'm just dealing with the headaches. They gave me some muscle relaxers that are supposed to help. Believe it or not, I had one before the stream. Can you tell? You hear my mouth? I'm always like this. I'm here all day, folks. But I don't have it this moment, so I am feeling very good, actually.
Don't ask.
They're not good muscle relaxers, Hi, Mary Ellen. Welcome, and thank you for coming. We're having fun here making a notch book. And how many have I made now? With each new person, I'll just make another one. That's fine. I'm okay with it.
We're keeping everybody up to speed. We're doing a fine job.
Yeah.
You got this.
Yeah. And then, so Kathy, when you get to this stage where you've glued it up and you've got your page decorated, then you want to fold it so the pockets are on the outside. So when you put it together, you don't even have to put glue right here because it's folded. And then you've got the insides to do something with also, which when we're not on camera, I'll probably place a large stencil over it or a couple of them in my spray box and just spray it because it's so much faster for these larger surfaces. But then I put these sewn strips of paper, and you could use your rip strips for any of you ladies that have followed me in making those, and just made some bands to tuck the postcards in. So we're dealing with our postcards from the edge. So it's a postcard display book.
Yes, Trish, I am just west of Winston-Salem. And we're getting rain right now. I don't know what you're getting.
So it is 2:43. We have 15 minutes left. And Mo, I'm going to have you hang out a moment afterwards so that we can get you set up. So next time Mo will be able to put links in for us, because apparently I have to do that on YouTube. You don't go there often either,
Yeah.
Eddie? I feel so guilty. I'm glad to hear that. It's not just me. Well, there's not enough hours in the day too. So
Well, and everybody knows that I am technically challenged. At least I think they do.
you're doing better than me with the technical
I'm
stuff.
getting
I
there.
mean,
I'm
I
getting there.
barely.
You know,
Julie, these pieces right here that you cut off would make great little. You said you're going to do a corner. These would be amazing to put either here or here to tuck as a tuck spot. You could probably even figure out a way to use that piece, you know, there to make a tuck spot and trim it off, you know. I think that would be great. Oh, you're hearing thunder?
yeah, we're only about 30 miles away. It'd probably take me about 30 or 40 minutes to get to our house.
It's very scary. As long as you don't have any big storms. My mom's out in the Midwest and she was in storm area at my brother's, and I had to call her the other day and check on her because I was worried. Yeah, Mo, you've been bad. You need to stay after class. That's right.
You need extra training.
Yeah. Kathy's in the DC area. It's been raining all day. Trish
We
said,
had rain yesterday, really heavy last night.
of course it's bright and sunny there, Julie. It's Australia, but it's cold.
Yeah, but aren't you getting ready for winter, Julie?
Yeah, they're in winter right now.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so I'm going to decorate that one after. We've got this here, and it's notched and ready to go. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2. I've got enough for 2 signatures here, I think. 3.
Diversity seminar.
4. So I think I'll stop at 4 with the signatures or with the pages, and then I will do another one. And you know, then I'll have enough room for however many pages times 4, because if you do both sides, that's a pocket on each side. So if I use 5 12 by 12s, let's say, then I get 4 per side, and that'll hold 20 postcards. Yeah, Kylie, is it do you guys get a late spring and it waits for the heat of summer until a bit later, because you guys are in a colder area, aren't you? Invited or demanded? It depends on what you like. You have been invited to the diversity seminar.
If Sharon's teaching it, it should be quite interesting.
What's that?
I said, if you're teaching it, it's going to be interesting.
Especially if it's off camera.
Yeah, exactly. No witnesses. Nobody will know where the bodies are buried.
That's right. And I watch a lot of mysteries. So, yeah. Okay, so this will enable us to have a place for our friend postcards. Any that we've made over the years that we want to go sift through our stuff, and then we'll have a place to stash them. Plus, we get to make a cool cover for them. Somehow, I'll figure out a fun cover, but I wanted to use a book cover. I actually tore apart a book. I've not used an actual book cover as my base, but I thought it would be fun. And then I'm going to have to put a border around it because it's not quite big enough, but I kind of grunged it up, and I'll continue to grunge that up off of camera and figure out a way to make that into, even if let's say I do this. I use this and put something on here and some tape over it. So maybe something on each side, maybe cardstock, and then bookbinding tape, and then I put a notch in it so it matches. That would work. That would be great. The first mystery is the case of the missing waist. Yeah, I lost mine too. Yeah, you've had frost one day and then it could be really warm the next. It's pretty cold and windy today here, but we've had some really hot sun a couple weeks ago, and it kickstarted my figs. So I hope it doesn't like freeze again randomly, because I won't get figs this year. They'll die off. As soon as it freezes, the figs stop growing. So like I might have figs all over my tree in September that haven't began to ripen yet. They'll keep putting babies out, but as soon as it freezes, they do not continue to grow and ripen. So that kind of ends it all. And last year we got a lot of figs. So there was a heat spell from, for quite a long period of time, but we didn't get figs this early. So I'm really excited to think that we could get even more figs if we don't have like a cold spell sprinkled in there at all. So, all right. Well, we've got 10 minutes left. Is there anything else you want me to go over again with the book? Should we just go ahead and tie 4 of these together and get it started? So I have to decide. Oh, I guess I'm going to be tying my cover. So that.
I love figs too.
And I have to spray these blank ones still.
What was that you made last year when you were preserving? Didn't you make like a fig and chili something?
Oh, I made a fig jalapeno jam, and it's so good.
It sounded good.
Yeah, Kylie, we had the people that lived here before. They owned a nursery, and they put in all kinds of crazy plants, and they lived here and raised their kids here. And yeah, there's a weigh-in for a weighing list for that seminar, Eddie. About the waist. Jalapeno fig jam is the best. It goes so well together. I didn't make it spicy enough though. I mean, you get a hint of that flavor from the jalapeno, but it's not really spicy. And this year I'm going to add a lot more. And it seems to happen every year. Like I add more each year because it's not hot enough.
Maybe you need a different type of pepper. Maybe it doesn't.
No, jalapeno is the flavor you want, I think, that goes through it. Julie has a lemon tree. Kathy said, I never thought about putting cutouts on each end, and you take it all and punch through the pages. This is such a great way to do a traveling notebook style, but it's a notch book. So that's the notch, and you want them to all kind of match up. Your pages can be different sizes as long as your notches match up and you have a true bottom for everyone, but you can have all different size pages, but use a guide for your notch. That is highly recommended. You can use just a piece of paper or a hunk of cardboard, or, I could have used that. That would have been fine. Just a scrap. But just to make sure that you have them all the same. That's all. So who's going to go make one? That's what I want to know. Or at least some rip strips or snippet rip strips. There might be another name for it, Kathy, but that's what I've called it. I've made a few in the past. I did start one with birthday and holiday cards that were given to me from my husband. And it's somewhere right here in my arm's reach. And it's just, it's a good way to keep them together. So, yeah, Julie, you should make more rip strips. Yeah, and Eddie, I would love to see that. Eddie just reached 3,000 subscribers. I keep going from 97 to 99 and back to 97 and back to 99, and I don't know why. Hi, Joanne.
I have
Oh,
to say,
welcome. You're
I have
making one
gained like
with us.
45
So
subscribers this week.
Joanne, did you see when I went through the steps, or are you guessing from looking at it out of curiosity? And Kathy, I stream the first and third Saturday of each month, and that is only because that's what works for me. And then I can throw extra little videos in when I have them coming up. Did you guys see Kylie has actually made her Tag a Sister project? Remember, we did the round last time in our collaboration with Peg at Two Old Crows and Kylie Koo, who's in chat. And we did, I challenged them to make a frame last time. So this time it was Kylie's turn, and she challenged us to fabric. That was her prompt. So I'm almost done with my project. I recommend everybody go, and if you haven't seen it yet, go look at Kylie's awesome project and the beginning of this next round. Next time Peg will get to choose. And watch for my project coming up soon. I mean, it's really almost done. I'm just waiting to do some finishing touches while I film it, because a lot of it, with fabric, like off camera, it would have been boring otherwise. So anyway, yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. I know we're a little bit early right now. You didn't see the snip. You came in when I was stenciling. Oh, okay. So you saw how to make the pocket then? Did you see that part? Because what I can do is just pull one piece of paper out here and show you. Oh, that doesn't really show. Okay, so you fold it in half. You know that part, right? And then you know your size that you want. And I'm doing this size. So I'm going to kind of go like that and like that. I'm doing it the quick way here. So quickly. All right. Oh, I was doing the wrong side. All right. And then with this, we used a lid or a bowl or whatever, and you make a little outline there for your pocket that's going to fold up. This part. And then you cut that out. So you would cut this out, and then with your guide, whatever you decide to use as a guide, let me get this folded correctly because it could be a little bit different. Okay. So it'll be folded like that. And then you use your guide to mark out where you're going to snip it, and just make a tiny little mark, just a tiny one. And then you make just a tiny little cut and cut off a sliver. And a tiny little cut. You know, these could get bigger from the inside to the outside, like the spaces. It would actually enable them to go around each other a little better if you do have some different sizes that you've cut out. Like they could graduate, like that one's super small. Not enough. Okay, so that's your notch book right there. So you're using that to tie them together. The 4-inch, because at first glance it looked like thirds, but I'm knocking right now. You could do this with an accordion too, and do the large window as well. This almost was an accordion, guys. It really was. I almost made an accordion post book wallet.
Well,
I
I'm
went
glad that you
through
did something that,
that was new.
that's new to us. Yeah,
Well, good.
it's going to be
I'm
very
so glad
helpful.
that you guys like it. That makes me happy.
And
And
since
of
my
course,
paper is
you,
lightweight, I just tied a ribbon around some of my muslin, my
doesn't it
sheets.
look nice?
Yeah, it turned out pretty good. I'll probably put some
Yeah.
beads on that.
Yeah, it looks nice. Ribbon, muslin, sari silk, any of that sort of you mean sari silk, right? You could rip up an old sheet. I could
Yeah,
use my
this is an old
fabric.
sheet. It was,
Okay.
my mother-in-law kept everything, and this one was like 100% cotton. And I thought, that might come in handy. So I folded it up and put it in the closet. And
Oh, that's
when I
great.
started doing the journals, I got it out and I halved it,
Hold
and I've
just
used
one
half
moment.
of it.
Bye,
So
Trish. Bye, Evie. I'm so glad that you were here. Thank you. And I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, Lisa, go ahead. I wanted to catch her
Julie's
before she
asking
left.
about the sari silk, if it frays. I don't know the answer to that.
I think we're supposed to have it fray, Julie. People buy it because it looks good frayed, basically. And I don't think it frays any more than a cotton strip that you rip. It's about the
Well,
same.
and generally, if something frays, if you cut it on the angle, it prevents it from happening quicker. It kind of slows down the process. So if you have any kind of ribbon that you could sit and just pull threads off the end, cut it at a diagonal cut.
That's
So that it has a peak, like a
painting
triangle.
shears. That's how those work.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yes. Thank you, Kylie, for reminding them to give us a thumbs up. I appreciate each and every one of you. And Mo, I'm about to go on and get you set up for that. So I will be hanging out here for just a moment. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I really, there are no words besides, and if there were a bigger word than thank you, it would be for you. So I appreciate you. If you're watching on replay, please consider subscribing. We are almost to the 900 mark. And when we get to 920, we're going to have a giveaway and do a little swap. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. And I will see you later. But Mo, I'll see you right now. Bye, guys.